Hello and welcome to Hixxy Studio Facebook Live. Thank you for joining us today. I have 4 projects for you this afternoon, all on a kind of watery theme. I've got 3 cards and I've got a mixed media canvas, and we're really focusing on 2 die sets this week. And they are, just move that out of the way, we've got this Amy Design Maritime Fishing Net, which I've used on 2 of the cards and cut up for the canvas, and then this Amy Design Underwater World Sea Life set, which I've used on this card and on this little porthole card too. So we've got a bit of inking, die cutting and lots of messiness. So the canvas is going to be the last one to do because I shall get in a right mess with that, and it's easier for me to clean up afterwards. So we'll put that one to one side. That will be the last thing we come to. And we're going to start with this one. Let me move those. So this one makes use of this lovely die, this gorgeous fishing net die as a background to, again, this comes from the Underwater World collection. I don't have any of the others to show you, but this is the 3D push outs from that collection. A lot of these, the Amy Designs, Janine's Crafts, generally have these 3D push outs that come with it. They're usually 3 on a page. So this one with the dolphins is the one I've already used. I've got one already made up with the whales, which is the one we're going to use on the card I'm making. And then this one, we are going to just have a quick look at how to make them up. Me thinking I was all ready and I wasn't. How easy these are to make up. So they come, as I said, on the sheet you get 3, and they come numbered, and it might not be easy to see on the camera, but they are different color numbers. I've made that mistake in the past of popping out the wrong thing, but so this one 1 2 3 4 in blue, this one 1 2 3 4 in green, and 1 2 3 4 in sort of a red. So I find the easiest way to do this is on an old mouse map with a ball tool, the biggest one that you can get, and literally just rubbing over the back. Okay, and the pieces come out. So we know that's piece number 4. And if I'm going to be a bit fussy, find my little scissors and just cut that a little bit off. Generally they come out. Sometimes they don't come out completely. Got a little notch on that one. And if that happens, then we can just help that with a pair of scissors. But most of the times, give them enough, they'll come out. We'll have another go at that one on the front. That's this one. Let's keep those in order. So I'm a piece there, and then there's our main. So I'm going to just turn it over those few little bits that got caught and see if having a go this side will help. Yeah, that one's come out. Where was this one caught? Where's he caught? He's caught on this fine bit. Don't pull too hard because these are on decoupage weight paper, and not sort of cardstock way that you get some die cut toppers. So just be a little bit careful with what you are doing. I've got a little visitor here. You might not be able to see. You might be able to hear her. That's Sally. She's just come to see if I've got any treats, but she's going to have to wait. Oh, put that in the bin. Right, okay, so we have our main image there. This one's got some little bits in there. So I'm laughing because I can hear her running back up the stairs, empty-handed. There we go. Let's have another go at that one. Tiny little bit, and I don't want to end up ripping anything. Taking that out. There we go. So there's our pieces. And with decoupage like this, I always tend to use 3D glue gel. So I am just going to give these a little bit of shape with just with my fingers. And if you forget which order, you can usually tell by the size. So this one's the full image, this one's got a little bit here missing, this one's got more here missing, and this one's just the shark on its own. So let's grab my little glue gel, and the syringe is always useful for decoupage things like this, because you can get into the long bits. You can use foam pads. I just find the fuss of cutting them all, taking all the backs off. The advantage to them is that you don't have to wait for the drying time. That is the disadvantage with this, which is why I always have one, whenever I'm using these little push outs, I always have one ready, made up and dried, because they do take a little while. Obviously the glue gel takes a little while to dry, but you know, each to their own, whichever you prefer. There we go. So there's our little shark image, all decoupaged up, ready for another project. If I was to do it with this project, I would probably turn, I would have to turn my oval base round to accommodate him, but there he is. So let's move him away, and he will dry for use for another day. And we are going to make our background before we do our die cut, because this will need to have a little time to dry. So to make my background, I kind of went for blues, and I added a bit of purple, and this image, this whale image, is the same, so I've gone for the same color combination. Now what I've got is the sprays. I've got iced spruce, and I've got faded jeans, and I have wilted violet, which gives us the purpley colour. So let's move those away. And with oxides, there are ball bearings in there. Depends whether I can. There you go. Start to move now. I've taken my hand away from the table. They recommend that you shake them side to side like this. If you are an up and down shaker, then what you will need to do, other side, is get a piece of tissue or something, remove the lid and put something over the nozzle, because as you can see, you then get some ink coming out of the nozzle. So if you just shake it up and down now, you'd end up with it all in the cap. So I'm just lining those up, because weird thing, the bottles all look the same, the caps all look the same until you try and put them back on, and then you'll find that they're not all the same. And then you have to play sort of like one of those little puzzle games. So I'm going to start with the iced spruce for the majority of the background. That gives a nice sort of covering. Okay, is that one? Yes. And then I'm going to add my blue. Get my ball bearing going there. The blue with the faded jeans, and then I'm going to use the wilted violet for the purpley effect. I feel like something's wet. Maybe it's just me. Now this one, I'm not pressing so hard to get a fine mist. I'm trying to do that kind of like, I want more of a blib. Blib? That's not even a word. Blib. What am I on about? You know, more sort of blotty. Now I can see I've managed to spray just about everywhere on the whole of my surface. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give that a little quick blast with a heat gun. And then I think what I'll do is I'll put it to one side so it can have a bit of time to dry while we do the die cutting. So I'm just going to Put it down on the floor. I'll pick it up again in a minute. I'm going to use it, and then I'm just going to clean off my board and everything else that I've managed to spray with a bit of water and some rice paper. Ooh, I've made a right old mess today. I'm not stuff I've sprayed there. Whoa, yes. But I'm just spreading the mess rather than cleaning it up. I seem to be spreading it. Let me get another piece. Let's see if we can do a better job rather than just spreading it from one place to the next. Oh, yeah. It's a good job no one else works in this space. They despair of me. I can see a bit more there. Right, okie dokie. What a mess, what a mess. Right, so while that's drying, and we can always heat blast it again in a minute, we are going to cut. Look at that. Right from the word go, I'm covered in ink. But hey ho, that is the way it goes. I am just going to dry that off, make sure I'm not putting my clean card down on wet things. It's all going to go downhill from, as soon as I've got that on my hand, it's like, never mind. So this card is Creative Expressions. It's pearl card, and I'm pretty sure it's called Steel. Nice sort of silvery colour for our net. So I need some tape to tape this down. Now this die, let me just turn it back over for you. There are loads and loads and loads and loads of little bits to cut. So it may be that you will need to cut it through, turn it 90 degrees and cut it through again. It does depend on what you're cutting. One of the things that I will be cutting later is slightly thicker. So it's a case of try it and see. So let's get that through. This die is great for these kinds of cards, but it's also, as soon as I saw it, it was like, oh, that's a mixed media die. It's a texture, it's a background texture. So it's one of those ones that you want to experiment with what it will cut, because I think if you can cut some flexible things with it, it will go round. And so here we go, look, that's cut pretty well. Also nice and messy. Just bear with me. I'm going to try, because I'm going to end up totally static. I usually do. So everything is going to end up sticking to me or flying everywhere. Right. Oh, not too bad, not too bad. So that's cleaned off the board. Now let's get my brush and clean the die. Get some more of it out. I will admit, when I was doing my prep, I do have a box full of these little bits. I will make a shaker card one day, and I will put all the bits in it. But it's just like, oh, I do like lots of little pretty sparkly, silvery, shimmery things. So we kept them in a box. Right. So let's take this off the die. And I'm going to make sure I clean this die, because I'm going to be using it several times during this afternoon, and I really don't want to cause it not to cut properly just by not cleaning it. To be honest with you, most of it comes out anyway. It would be really quite soul destroying, I think, if you had to sit and poke through a ton of these little bits, but one or two you don't mind. Right, so that's that cut. I am going to throw these away. But they are the sort of things that would be great in a shaker card. So we have this cut. There's a few in here. And we have our little 3D push out. We've got, what did I say? We've got the whale for this particular card. I've got my whale here, and I've got my ovals. They're kind of mix and match from lots of different sets just so that I could get a nice effect. So we'll layer those up, but we'll do that now. Give the background a little bit more time to dry. Oops, do. That's some navy colour for my stash. That's the grey, the silver, sorry. Again, the steel pearl card that we've cut the fishing net from. And this is just white stamping card. And then ooh, best to put glue on the thing rather than on you. So that's going to sit there. Okay, so that's our little mount. We can also get our sentiment ready while we give our little background still a little bit more time to dry. Now what I've done is I have used, if I find it, the Trim Crafts first edition bunting alphabet set for this, and I've already gone ahead and cut all my letters, and I've also sort of mounted them together just for quickness. So we've got for you. Now I need my I need a piece of paper to blot on. I need my tweezers. That's where I got glue. Where's that glue come from? Who knows? Stuff that's on the craft mat could have come from anywhere. Right, so I'm going to put, no we're not. We're going to start with the O's so that we get this central. Hold the tweezers in one hand and then hold the letter in another. How silly. Come on, let's focus. Right, so I'm going to put the O on there and then the other O directly underneath. That way I can make sure my words are lined up. Okay. Right, and then we can do the other letters around. That a bit of a... Oh, that was nearly U4. I'm sure it would make sense to somebody, but I won't for you. Four. And the Y and the U for our sentiment. And then we'll go and have a look at our... I might actually go straight this time with the U. A bit different. I seem to have a lot of residual glue on my tweezers. I think I'm going to need to have a bit of a clean up of those before our next live. Yeah, let's do like that. There we go. So there's my little sentiment plaque ready. Let's move my gluey thing out of the way and find my pin. Okay, so let's get our ink back. Okay, so it's getting there, and in fact what I think I might do, rather than heat drying it, I might just blot it. Ooh, quite like that. Gives a little bit of a different effect. It almost makes the purple stand out more, sort of more pushed in to the blue rather than sitting on top of it. Excellent, like that. And then I'm just going to give one little blast because I'm gonna ink round the edges with the Faded Jeans pad. We'll just give it a little bit of a heat blast. And you may have noticed the other advantage of allowing it to dry naturally is actually that is way flatter than if I had blasted that with a lot of heat. It would have buckled and warped because I'm sort of pushing the or forcing the water content out of both the ink and the card sort of quicker than you would naturally do so. So all I'm going to do, I just want to sort of make the edges look more blue, get rid of any little white bits around the edge. So I'm just using the faded jeans, which is the same as one of the sprays that I used, with a little ink brush here to just add it to the edge. Also tones in quite well because we've got the dark bluey black of that whale in our image. Okay, I'm trying not to get inky, but I don't know why. I think every project is inky or painty today, so I don't know why I'm fighting it. I might just as well go with it. Be completely blue today. Last time we were very yellow, weren't we? We were doing lots of bees. Right, let's put that to one side. That to one side and just clear her up. Get that bit of rice paper back. Okay. And I'm just gonna make sure there's no more moisture left. Piece of paper towel. Just try and prevent as much sort of contamination as I can. Sometimes it's a futile effort, but you know, I try. So I have my blue background. You can see when I was doing this, it's like, how am I getting all these smears? I'd managed to squash my my decoupage on something or with something, and then the glue was just passing from one bit of card to another. I thought, you know what, it doesn't matter because it's going to be covered anyway, so we can still go ahead and use it. So we are going to put it's only me. I'm not royal. I'm not a royal we. So I'm going to put the this is more of that steel pearlized card from Creative Expressions down there, and then the white. I don't know whether I cut this to size. That would have been a good thing to check first, wouldn't it, before I ink the edges? So let's stick this down. It was me just presuming I'd been organised and cut my card to size, but no, apparently not. So let's put that down, and then we're going to have to do a little bit of a ink everywhere. Right, I am just going to, excuse me, I don't know why, because I'm about to do more inky things. Try and get a little bit of ink off my hands before I contaminate absolutely everything. Yeah, I managed to get it there. Oh dear. Never mind. Right. So we are going to place this down. This is where I'm like, which bit would I like? I think I'm going to go around that way. So I'm just with my pencil, I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm just going to put a mark there and a mark there, and then I'm going to have to get my ink out again, but not to worry. There's me right for presuming that I was organised. It's a very big presumption to make. So that's off there. Off there. I'm not going to re-ink the brush because I'm pretty sure I've got enough ink left. Maybe not. Let's get it out. Let's get messy again. More ink. Why not? just after you've cleaned up. There we go, that's better. And I'll have forgotten which way round I did this. So I feel it's, you know, this is the way the afternoon is going. It's going to be one of those, eesh, sheesh, what's she doing? Kind of afternoons. Right, let's try and clean up again. A bit of a dry. See, look, even when I think I've cleared up, I haven't. Right. So there's my card. No, I kind of think I went that way, didn't I? Yeah, subtly. Get some glue on it. And then that goes on there. And I'm going to get a piece of paper so that I can go over that and hopefully not get, see, look, inky. Shows it's not quite dry. Not to worry. I need to stop saying that. Not to worry. So this is our die, and it is quite intricate, and there's no reason why I can't put dab some glue on it. But I'm gonna be a little bit not cheap, but I'm going to. She said, "Excuse me, I just need to grab something." I am going to use a spray glue instead. It just makes things a little bit quicker. So, wrong way, and oh, there we go. Put it somewhere safe. Right, so this is Stick and Stay from Crafter's Companion, but there are other brands of spray glue. Just short, sharp bursts, and then it needs about 30 seconds to just sort itself out. So we're going to just take that out for a moment. And I'm just going to find that for my glue. There. Right, okay. That's probably not quite 30 seconds, but it will do. And I'm going to angle this as near as I can, sort of getting the corners of the die towards the edge of the paper. Okay, and then I'm going to just go over the top of that. And you can see by using the spray glue, I've got really great adhesion there, and no sort of squeeze through of the glue. Right, so there is our sentiment and our yeah, topper. That's the one. Goodness me. Right, I am going to use 2D glue gel. I am not decoupaging this. I'm just literally going to use it to a little bit of adhesion on the back, purely because I need it out this, which I am going to right, I'm not going to put that on straight away, and I'll tell you why. I am going to put, I was looking for something to embellish this card with, and I was like, oh, I don't really want, you know, big things. I don't want a bow with it. So I had a rummage and I came up with these. I have all sorts of weird stuff in my drawers at home, and I have all sorts of different seed beads. So these are, I don't know why, because I've never made jewellery, but they just seemed like a good idea at the time. So these are what I've used, and I've used 3D glue gel to stick them on. Now if I stick this on first with 3D glue gel and then do the beads, when I roll the thing around, they're all going to go underneath and stick to it. So we're going to leave that off for now. and I am going to, there we go, I'm going to put literally some blobs of just random, no rhyme or reason, wherever, some big, some small, whatever you fancy, some on the page, also on the net, and some off, little bits, bigger bits, just random. So now this is something I learned at home. Don't just do this on your desk, which is what I did, because when you shake them they go whoosh. So I have got this little tray. It must have been out of something, and probably some sort of chocolates, and I thought, oh, that'd be a good thing to keep hold of, and now I know why it was a good thing to keep hold of. So I am literally going to pour on some beads. So you pour out way more than you need, and then just give them a pat, and where you've got your glue gel, they will stick into it. I can see there's some there, that's why I'm pushing them there, because there's some glue gel there. And then the big one there, we don't want that big bead. Ooh, there we go. It started already. Look, can't even keep them in the container. Goodness me. Right, so did we get all the bits? No, there's a bit there. So I'm just going to grab a few. I'm just going to pour a few more on there. And push down and then off. So you can see wherever I put the glue gel, they've stuck. And then I've got to do the same up here. So it's a case of just pour, load over. I still can't do it. I need a desk size tidy tray. And then I'm just going to go over and press down. Off we come. There we go. So we will leave all of those in the tidy tray, and I can tidy that later. At least they're not all over the desk. So there you go. You can see now that I have, and I've been a bit more heavy-handed with the glue than I was at home. You can see I've got bigger clusters, but I quite like that. So the last thing to do then is to put the sentiment on again with 3D glue gel. So you can see that if I had put this on before and I'd been kind of with my beads, a lot of them would have gone underneath the sentiment and stuck to the glue under there, which would have been a complete waste of my beads. So there is our first card. We used the Underwater World Amy Design 3D pushouts. We have used the Amy Design Maritime fishing net, and lots of lovely Distress Oxide sprays. We have Wilted Violet, Ice Spruce and Faded Jeans, and then a little bit of the Faded Jeans ink as well, along with some very messy seed beads for embellishment. Okay, so that is card number 1 with our fishing net only. We just used that die on this one. So our next card is going to combine. Bear with me while I just get myself reset. Our next card is one that is going to combine the net and this little die set. Excuse me for leaning over. This Underwater World Sea Life set, which is quite cute. And I thought it would be really nice to do, like, you know, from the inside of a boat through a porthole. So that's kind of the idea behind this card. So let me just get my bits and pieces. So I have a I've done my base card, so I've gone for dark brown because I was looking for the kind of, like, you know, that old dark brown of a wooden boat. I've used craft card because I wanted to use craft for the net, and then I needed something to tone that in with. So I've got a mat of craft card. Then I've got some of the Creative Expressions gold mirror card, but you know, whatever gold mirror card, hunky dory or whatever. And then this paper is from the Crafter's Companion Nature's Garden, the Woodland Friends one. Most of their Nature's Garden packs, I think, have a wood effect in them, all different kinds of colours and tones. But I thought this really dark one was exactly what I wanted to sort of represent the inside of a boat, keeping this all quite dark, and then having the porthole as being really bright and cheerful as a sort of focus on this. So that's our base card. Let's just stick that together, and then we know that's done, dusted, and out of the way. So, what way should we do it? No, not that. Should we do it that way? No, but I've written the arrow on the back, so obviously we're not using it that way. We're using it this way. Some glue. And it's on there. All my arrows, look at that. When I prep, I'm fairly organised. Because I know when I get to this stage, it can all go horribly wrong. And it quite often does. Right, there's my mirror card layer. And here is my whoop, come on glue. This is my wood effect paper. So sort of like the, I've got quite often I use the wood effect like vertically, but because this is to sort of represent the inside of a boat, then the planks would be going horizontally rather than vertically. So that's our card base made. So next thing then, let's just like before, let's cut out our lovely, excuse me, our lovely fishing. See, I tell you, it all goes to pot when I get live. Our fishing net die. We'll cut this one out of craft this time. Run that through. I've got all sorts of things all over the place. I can see Dean's going to be going in a minute. Right, so this is going through for just for our net. So we're using that like we did on the previous card. It's kind of like almost a matte and layer, if you like, but a backdrop for our little porthole scene. So just have a look. Yeah, by the look of that, that's cut pretty well. So I am just going to try and get these off, otherwise they will be sticking in my next. I'm sorry about this. I'm just going to turn my back and do it over the bin. Otherwise they will get stuck the next time. Okay. There. So before I take it out, I'm going to run the brush over to get rid of some more. It's easier to do it while it's in the die because you've got this harder surface to press against. You can do it once the die cut is out, but I tend to turn it over on its back when I do it that way. Okay. Just being out everywhere. So there's the die cut. See, very few left in the die itself. Again, I've got one more. I need this for our final project later, so I'm going to clean this one out properly. Right, so that's ready for the project. Let's just get some more of these off. Almost all. Put these last few little bits out. on. Right, so that's now ready. Over there. Tidy this bit up. And get rid of these bits. Now I have already cut out a oh, got glue on that. What a surprise. I've cut out a circle for the back of the porthole, and I've cut out sort of another sort of circle border which is smaller, which will be the inner part of the porthole. And then we're just going to create a little inky background, and all I'm going to use is Salty Ocean. I'm going to grab a brush for this, nice bright blue, because I really wanted a distinct blue, but a very sort of bright blue. I'm not worried about if I've got white bits, because I'm going to, in a moment, I am going to see, look, pinky fingers. I am going to spray it to get this kind of water effect. So trying to stay tidy. I'm not doing so well. So this is my disperse sprayer, and it does spray very fine if you want it to, but if you don't press too hard, you can kind of get it to dribble. That's too far out. There we go. See? I can get it to do some quite nice big blobs, which is what I want. That's all I want. And I am going to use this bit again, this clean bit here, and I'm going to just put that on the top, and you can see where I've put that through, and then just use the rest of this water to clean that up. Okay, so that's my little background. There. We'll put that aside. That's going to go into our porthole like that. Now what we need all these little bits. Now, when I did this, and I used up some scraps, and I cut them all out. I was like, oh, that's not like that. And then once I stuck it all down, I realised I was a piece missing. So we're going to try and actually use all the bits today. I'll show you the bit that I've got missing in a moment. So we have scrap bits of card. This is a nice one for busting all your scraps. Let's move that out. Okay, so this cuts out the whole of it. You can see there's a cutting edge all along there. Now, I want green, some green seaweed, so I'm cutting out the whole thing out of green. Just going to take that down. Then I've got this bit of paper which I have cut the fish from. I was going to say that really awful joke, but I don't know whether to. What's a fish with no eyes? It's bad. I'm sorry. I apologise. I will not tell jokes again. So I want an orange starfish. A bit more tape. So an orange starfish. And we've got this green. That'll be yellow, not green. A yellow scallop shell. And oh, I seem to be missing my pink card. Oh, it's there. It's there. So I've got this like little pink. It's like a whelk shell. For some reason, the reason I did it pink, and it's I know it looks nothing like it, but this kind of, for some reason, my first thought was like those shrimp sweets. I don't know. Maybe I'm showing my age. Those shrimp sweets that I used to love those. But it was like Oh, they're that pink colour. Right, I'm cutting these down because I don't need all this bit of card. Oh, I haven't got the sharks. Sharks. Well, I don't know. They're very small. So I'm doing those on a bit of grey. Need some more tape. Oh, cut that one off. Now, the bit that I realised I had cut. Oh, look, it's shiny on the other side. Let's go on the shiny side. Shiny, shiny. With the bubbles. I'd cut them because I found them after I'd finished doing the card. So we'll see if we can incorporate the bubbles into this version of our porthole card. Sorry. Right, so I am going to see if these will cut without the magnetic. I don't know that it really needs that much pressure, but we'll see. We'll put them through, and if they don't, then I'll put it through again with the magnetic. It might be that without it, I won't get the emboss, so we'll see. Let's go with it and see what happens. I have when I prep at home and with my Gemini, but all machines, even the same brand of machines, are different. Every machine is individual, and sometimes it likes. Oh, I'd say that cut. Yeah, I'd say that cut too. Okie dokie, right. So we didn't need, yeah, there we go. We didn't need the extra pressure. I was right. There we go. Oh, now be careful. These are little things. So be careful to make sure that you've got all the bits off of your cutting plate before you kind of like brush it off. Okay, so we have. And we do have the embossing, so that's pretty cool. There's our little. I am going to put these back on here so that I don't lose them. So our little clamshell, and then our starfish came out there. There, come on, all fingers and thumbs with this little starfish. Don't forget that you can ask questions in the feed, and if you hit the like button on the page, you'll also be updated when we go live, but also when the videos are put onto YouTube, because I not only do the Facebook Live on a Friday, that we record some videos, usually roughly 4, sometimes 5, and they get put up through the week as well. So it's worth liking the page, or you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is Hixxystudio. So yeah, so that way you'll know what we've got out there. So what else? So that's our kind of. I'm going to use this in the next card in a different way, where we actually do use this, but I'm going to cut these off in a moment. A little whelk shell is there, and so I just don't want to lose the bits this time, so I'm being very careful. Oh, now there's the small fish. Fish. I'm sorry, I need to stop saying that. I don't know why I kept saying fish. Fish. No. Oh, they'll fill up. Phew. I thought for one moment I'd thrown them away. There's the fish. And this time there's the bubbles. Make sure I remember to use the bubbles this time. So bits, and get my pokey tool to poke that out. Where is my pokey tool? Oh, hiding under my Gemini. Oh. Right, so there's the bubbles. Put them back on. Get rid of those little bits. Put those back on there, ready for the next demo. Right, so I want to go in now and I want to cut these off. Now it doesn't matter because they're going to sort of disappear underneath, so I'm not too worried what I'm cutting off down here, because it's only going to be like the sort of fronds that are going to be showing above the porthole. And these bits here. Oh, excuse me, I've got an itchy nose. I have to get something to blow my nose in a second. Right, so there's those there. Just excuse me, please. If I can find something. Right, there we go. Oh. Oh. There we go. Right, so get rid of those bits. Oh. Okay, so now put that to one side. Let's bring in our card to start assembling. So put that there. Right, so what I need now is to assemble these on here. I do need to make sure that, oh, I don't know, that's I'm not too, I don't quite like that. I have those little bits of extra green, and it is just literally a case of arranging them around the edge. Maybe have that one there, and I'll tell you what, I am going to get rid of that pointy corner there and that pointy corner there, and put those kind of like that. I'm just going to glue them, I think, rather than faffing. I could be here a while if I keep faffing. So right, let's just start by gluing this one down. And just leaning over the camera, I'm just getting a bit of card to block these on. So let's put this one up, pointing in like that. I'll have that one down there. There. And what else have we got? We've got that one and that one, haven't we? So that one overlapping there. Whoosh. Yeah. Grab hold. That one. That one going up there. And this last one overlapping them all in the middle. Right, now, where shall we have the bubbles? Where should we have the bubbles? I wonder if we could have just the bubbles. If I could lift that a little bit. No, I'll just put that down to. How about from under there, maybe? Yes, I think I'll just take that one off again. Bear with me. A little bit of glue on the back of the bubbles. A little bit there, yeah. And we'll have them there, and then put the there. That'll do. Fold that in half and give all that a nice press. So it's down. Just double check. See, that's going to look nice. We might have a couple of little bits of green to trim off. Yes, you can see them from this side, so need to trim those off. There we go. So that will be our porthole like so, and then we'll have our little sharks, or well, I've made them sharks, they're grey sharks. We'll have them like we did before. I'm just leaving that on. It's not stuck yet, but I just need to be sure that I'm not sticking them too close to the edge, that they are going to be seen. Phew, 1 minute I thought I'd lost this little guy. Oh, girl. Oh, for goodness sake, Carol. And then we'll have fish. I need to stop. Fish. We'll have them. I might do them slightly differently. So I'll have that one there, and then a little one up there. No, maybe a bit closer. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Need to glue them though, don't I? Need to glue them. Okay, so this is almost on this one, and it's another one of those sets that, so used this way, can be great for using up all those little, you know, those pesky scraps, you know, that you get. Not pesky, why am I saying pesky? All those little scraps. Oh, brain is gone, totally gone. Right, let's get the this bit of the porthole done. Less inane talking and more useful craft descriptions would be better. Okay, so I didn't last time, but I am this time. I'm going to raise this up slightly because I feel it just needs a little bit of a lift to make it look more like a porthole. I am just make sure that's stuck though. Right. I think we'll assemble that onto here. I'm going to, like I did before, I am going to use the spray on this one. I stood up in my chair. The chair wiggled away from me. Yeah, just because it is easier to apply this one with the spray. So this Crafter's Companion Stick and Spray, but any of the spray adhesives. I wouldn't necessarily recommend cutting this one with a double-sided sheet, sticky sheet, because there are so many little bits. It could get quite tricky. Okay, so just leave that to should be 30 seconds, but I probably won't be able to wait that long because I'm very impatient. So I'm not going to wait. Don't tell anyone. I'm not waiting. Okay, so we are going to put this sort of towards the top. More towards the top than the bottom because the porthole's going to sit here. And then we're just going to press it down. There we go. Right, let's put the porthole on. So we're going to start, I'm going to stick this one flat. Whereas last time I 3D, I put that on top of here in 3D block, but this time I'm going to stick this flat there. And then I'm going to 3D this on. I'm just looking at whether I should put, no, stop. I'm sure you will do this in your craft room. Okay. I was just wondering whether, what I was thinking about was, should I put these on before I put this on? But I'm not, because I want them to overlap. So I'm going to stick this on first. We'll see. We'll see whether I was right to do it or not. Right, so let's put this up this way. There we go. I think I'm liking that more as a porthole. It looks more 3D than the original. Right, these little malarkeys are little shells. A little bit of glue gel behind those. We'll put one there. And we'll put the, I don't know if you can see the little detail that's embossed on here. Beautiful. It just makes it, when you get these tiny little die cuts and they have that little, yeah, sort of amount of detail, really makes them just something a little bit special. And then here's our little clamshell. Oh, wrong glue. Oh no, not it. Okay. There's our clamshell. Okay. Right. So in order to make it look like a porthole, I have some of these gold, oh well, not pearls, but they're kind of like these flat-backed embellishments. I think I've got way too many, but we'll see. So they're going to go on the outer one. So let's see, I'm going to see what I got on there. So I'm going to go, oof, blowing bubbles forever. No, I'm not. Oh, for goodness. I do apologise. I feel like I'm like really not here today. Right, okay, let's go for it. One there and one at the bottom. So I want them roughly symmetrical, so I don't just want to go randomly round. Okay, then I'm going to go in there, in there, in there. And I won't do one there. Ooh, I could probably just fit it in. Let's go for it in there so I can see it. Right, let's get these on. There. These are like the rivets that you see. I think they're called rivets on the porthole. Oh, come on. I am going to sneeze. I am very sorry. Excuse me. I do apologise. Whew. Itchy nose, sneezing. I don't know. I don't know what's coming of me today. Right, so there's my rivets on my porthole. Let's put these ones away. Do I know I need some of those for the there. Right, and then all I've done with this is just ordinary twine. You don't need, you don't need to buy expensive crafting twine. This is just garden twine. And I made like a bow like with 4 loops, and then literally just cut through the loops to make it look more sort of nautical or rustic. And then I'm just going to put that on there, and then just to tie that in with this, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue gel, and then 3 of the little flat back gold embellishments. There we go. Goodness me, we got through it finally after all my procrastinating. Is that even the right word? Probably not. Right, so let's have a quick recap then on this one. So we have used the maritime fishing net die for this lovely sort of backdrop. I've used just my circle dies to create this porthole. Background is salty ocean distress oxide, then splattered with water and then just blotted. And then all these little dies are from the Sea Life set from Amy's Designs Underwater World collection, and just used with scrap paper. So no sort of colouring or anything needed on that. So that's 2 cards then. We've had one with just the net with our little we used a whale, didn't we, with our whale pop out. Now we've used the net with the underwater. Now I'm just going to use the underwater ones to create this. Now this one I have used, excuse me while I just wonder where I'm going to put everything. I'm throwing them all over there, and at the end when I want to show them all I'm going to have trouble grabbing hold of them, but not to worry. So this one is kind of the same, but this one I have I've actually coloured. I've used distress inks to actually colour them. So if you don't have coloured card, coloured paper, scraps, then you can do this all out of a piece of white card. and whatever inks or whatever colouring medium you like to use. So just bear with me while I just reset from the last one, put away things I don't need anymore, and there we go, that can go. Oh, I've got so much stuff today. Right, let's get this one out. So I'm going to be using the Mermaid Lagoon oxide spray on this background, along with tumbled glass oxide, and that's to create the background. And then I have a whole kind of, now these are just ones I picked out just for a range of colours. You might want to use other colours, or you might not even want to use inks. You could use, you know, if you've got a watercolour box or whatever. But that's what I have used to create this one here. And let's just grab everything I need. So I've already got my base card, and then my mats and layers, and then this is ready for my inky background, and that's what we're going to start with. Let's move that out the way and get my piece ready for inking. Now I'm going to check this time that I have cut it to the right side, so this is the actual size. Now I'm going to get my brush for my tumbled glass. Let's use this one. Let's have a look. Yeah, it'll do. And you can probably see there's lots of white space because I haven't what's the word? Yeah, I didn't blend it really. I just applied it, if you like, and I wasn't too bothered because I kind of wanted that more pale effect. So literally I'm doing this. Like, see, I'm not bothered if I've got white bits. It is what it is. It's not, I'm not trying to completely cover. I'm just adding bits. Okay, like this. That's it. So it's not one that I have worried about making sure I've got good coverage, making sure that I've blended it all. It's just fairly sort of lightweight, kind of mottled background. And then on top of that, I am going to spray some Mermaid Lagoon. Okay, my lid won't come off. There we go. Right, so I'm going to just literally, and like I did with the water on the previous one, I want it to splat. I don't want a fine mist, so I'm just going to not press the thing too hard. I've probably gone a little bit over the board, over the top on this one. Right, there we go. Stop. Right, so I'm going to, next thing, I'm going to blot that rather than start to heat set it. So I'm literally just going to put my rice paper over the top and blot. And then I'm going to put that to the side to dry off more. And that's our background. I will want to ink a little bit around the edges, but I'm not too worried at the moment. We'll let it dry and we'll clean this up. Same bit of rice paper. This is going to be quite a nice sort of purpley, a bit of yellow on there as well. It's going to be quite a nice background. Okay, so that's our background started. Not quite finished, but started. Let's move those to the side. And then I'm going to get a piece of white card. Just going to grab a bit of kitchen roll to just give that a wipe over. See, even sort of thinking I've cleaned it, there's always a little bit more left. sure that I've got it as clean as I can. Right, so my white card, and we're going to get our underwater, sea life set. And it should, if I've done prep properly, it should all fit on here. We're just cutting it all out of white card. And I've realised I think I'm a colour missing. We might have to improvise. I'm looking not a little pink shell like I had on the previous one. I'm sure I used worn lipstick for that, but I don't seem to have that with me. So we'll improvise. We'll come up with something. Tape. Ugh. That's why we tape it, so it doesn't go for a wander. Take this down. Those. And the bubbles. And you can see for this one I have got several bubbles, and I have already just checking that I have pre-cut them, because you don't need to see me cutting the bubbles 3 times. Right, so let's grab our plates again. Just like last time, we shouldn't need the extra magnetic throat. So like I said, this is one you can use whatever colouring medium you like. And you know, and it also means you're not restricted by the colours you've got in your scrap box. So let's just check that these have all cut. Yeah, no, I think it's got caught on the side. Can you see it's just not quite cut there? I think what I've done is it's slipped to the side. So let's put it that way, and we'll go for one more. I'd rather put it through a second time and make sure it's cut than sit and try and cut it with a knife or with a pair of scissors, or because it's a lot less stressful. Just running it through again. Let's see. There we go. Now we're good. There's our little shell. Starfish. This is our sort of bottom of the ocean with our seaweed and our coral. Bubbles. I'll pop those out in a minute. Oh, no pun intended with the bubbles. Pop them out. Right, 1, 2. I'm missing a fish. Oh no, he's there. 3 fish. Okay, let's just put those back. I do particularly like with little dies to make sure that I am putting them back on a magnetic sheet. They are small. They are easy to lose. And if you lose them, they're then not that easy to find, because they fall into your rubbish bin or something, and they're really not that easy to retrieve. So have I got everything? I've got that, and I've got my fish, I've got my bubbles. Yay! Right, so let's put these on there, and that on there. Is that everything? No, the bubbles. Let's get the bubbles out of the die. There we go. All the little bits popping out. Still not out. One there, one there. I'm sorry, my hands and my nails are looking quite grubby today, with starting with the blue ink and then now glue, and by the time we finish with the pastes and stuff, it's going to be horrible. Right, there we go. There are our little bits. So I tend to use a white tile my white tiles are usually back with a bit of felt just so that they don't scrape around. I'm not gonna paint everything because I have some already done, but I will show you how I painted this bottom part. Let's get some water. You don't need too fine a brush for this because you're sort of going off onto here, so it's not a huge issue. So I used, for the sand, I used scattered straw. I'm going to do that one down here because I used a lot of scattered straw. It was going back over it. So we'll get that on, not too much water, enough to get the ink moving on here. And like I said, you don't, when I do things like this, I tend to do wash over to get the colour, and then I do I go back then to add in a bit of sort of shading. This is just going to cover the bottom here. And then I'm just going to put a darker line. Oops, I seem to have lots of bits. There's probably lots of bits on my my mat that I'm picking up. I'm going to get some more of this. I want some that's slightly less diluted, so I can go darker, sort of under where the seaweed and the coral is. So again, under here. And here. And then sort of use to sort of create the illusion of a depth here. This one will then look a bit like it's closer. And again up here under. Now it would be a good idea. In fact, I might just to leave that to dry for a bit before you try and add colour in. I've definitely got something on my brush or on my palette on here. I seem to be just painting onto the card. But what I was trying to say there is, if we leave this to dry a little bit, when we start adding colour here, they're not going to bleed straight into wet on there. So, as I haven't got that, what have I got? I've got, oh, what should we do? Oh, I did the fish, didn't I? So I've got some wilted violet. Let's just colour in one of the fish while we're just waiting for that to dry. And literally, again, this it depends how vibrant you want it. Now, I tend to, because I like watercolouring, I tend to use my distress inks when I'm painting like this. However, they are more, because they're a dye ink, they're more watery. So to get a deeper colour, just like watercolours, you kind of have to go over a few times. Like, see, I've got that base colour on, and now, see, if I'm going over again, I'm going to get a deeper colour. If you use Distress Oxide, you're going to get a deeper colour straight away, but that is just the way it is. So there's one of our little fish. So we just clean my brush off. And we're going to go back here. We'll leave those now for a minute. So I've done coral. So I've got abandoned coral. Thought that was quite appropriate. And then I'm putting far too much down for what I need. I think I used mowed lawn, and what's the other one I got? Lucky clover. I used it over that there. So just sort of trying to mix it up, because seaweeds are not all the same colour. Right, so let's start with this over here. So I think I did that with Lucky Clover. Just a tiny bit of water just to get that moving. There. Now, if that had been really wet, it would have just bled straight into the yellow. Oh. This is, again, you can go back over these several times to sort of deepen the colour. So that's those. Oh, I missed one. Look, clean my brush and I've missed one. Bit more colour on there. So sort of, you can see that this one, I say this, you could do this card like we did the previous card, which was just to die cut out of coloured paper. You could do the previous card like this one, and that, you know, with actually colouring the bits in. It's a case of what you want to do, what you've got time to do. It's all about choice, but you know, it's what you fancy. Those bits there, and then up here. Like I say, even though these bits are small, you don't need a small brush. In fact, a bigger brush is better because it literally just goes over the top. With a small brush, you'd be there forever. Okay, let's just clean that off. Oh, let's do this next one, Twisted Citron. I think I used Crushed Olive looking at it last time, but I've got that one with me, so we'll go with a really bright Twisted Citron. Ooh, that's nice. That's like sea lettuce. Sort of real sort of bright green. And then the one at the end we'll do with our mowed lawn. Just yet another green. All beautiful greens, all very, very different. There you go. So, and then just like I did the fish, you can go on and paint the rest of the bits. I'm not, because, you know, you don't really need to see me painting tons and tons and tons of things. So I'm going to move my palette out the way. And I'm just going to use my inky thing, just wipe up those bits I've done there. Like that. And then, like I said, I did add a bit too much ink onto my palette, but I would not waste that. That would be put onto a rice paper as well. So, you know, don't, even when you do put too much out, you know, don't worry about it. If you've got, you know, some plain rice paper, then just mop it up. Or even if you haven't got rice paper, you can still mop it up with just your card, just for background. So I'm just going to move those out of the way, and I'm going to get my little set here that I have already. In fact, I'm going to go, look, this is what happens. This is what happens when you put it on too wet. You can see it bled in. So I actually prefer that, although I prefer that. No, I'm gonna go with this one, because I think it looks better. But then I've got all my other bits here. Oh, there we go. Right, so these are all my bits to stick on. And I'm going to retrieve my card, my backing card, which is now dry. And I am going to take my Mermaid Lagoon. I realise I've not got my oxide, so I'm just going to use my ink. It's Mermaid Lagoon, isn't it? Yeah. And I'm just going to add a little bit of ink to the side. Now, I don't know if you can see, if I bring this one in. This one is edged with oxide, and this one is edged with ink. You can see that the oxide is way more opaque and covers much more than the ink does. So, yeah, it is horses for courses, but, you know, they do different things, and it depends what you're after. I like my inks for painting with and for stamping with, and I like my oxides for blending with, for backgrounds, and also for stamping on backgrounds. I like I think they both have their place, and what I also like is that the whole of the collection ties together. So, you know, with the sprays and the inks and the oxides, you know you're getting the same colours, so you can mix and match all your mediums. Right, let's clean that with some water. Ugh. Hokey cokey. Where's my thing? Oh, right. Hokey cokey cokey. There we go. Let's get this assembled. And then we get on to our last project of the day, our canvas. Right, so, I quite like that way. Wipe this up. You feel the dampness already. You see on the card. Not to worry, not to worry. How many times a day do I say that? Not to worry, not to worry. Let's get these stuck down. So I literally went for the really bright blue base and mats because I just thought it was bright and cheerful, and it matched in with the sort of the sea theme. And then I used the light yellow and the light blue to sort of just contrast with that, a bit like the paleness of the tumbled glass on the background piece. So I'm sticking this on here, and then we're going to offset this. And the way I do that is to try to make the corners touch pretty much the sides. I need to wiggle a little bit. That way you usually get a nice even, rotate them. We will do the same with this once we have assembled it, but we're going to assemble it first. So let's get our background on. Okay, and then we'll put our bottom of our ocean on. I'm just buffing with that a little bit, so that will sit on there, and then I put, there we go, where's my tweezers? There's nothing stopping you from twisting. I did use the 3D glue gel. Sorry, from twisting these sort of round to face the other way. They don't necessarily have to face. I put 3D glue gel and then I squish it flat. Really, I don't know. There we go. There's our little sharks. And then the fish, I'm also going to 3D, 1, 2, 3. You can see I did go over the fish several times with the wilted violet to really make them quite vibrant. I just realised that I must have 3D'd this as well because I've got some bits behind. But it's not the end of the world. Let's put a little bit of this on and put this behind here. Let's get another of our fish. I mean, you could cut these out multiple times and have a, you know, loads of fish, loads of sharks, loads of the seashells. much as you want, really. It's entirely up to you. So I don't know why I'm doing this without tweezers. Right, we're going to do this slightly different because I've moved the fish along a little bit. Let's put that one just behind there, and we'll put this one there. Okay. Right. Oh no, not. I'm just trying. Let's have a think. I'm going to put that on. I'll put it down here. There we go. The sentiment is just from printed out on my computer and cut with a circle die. Felt it would. I don't know why I'm doing that, but let's do it anyway. It's because I'm talking and I'm not thinking. So a little oyster shell down in that little gap there. Our starfish and our little whelk shell there. And then we are going to stick this onto our card. Again, I'm going to twist this round, looking for where I can touch the corners, not hitting anything. Touch the corners. I'm not pushing too hard because I've got some wet glue there. But there we go. It's our third project. It's the second one with the under the water sea life collection. So yeah, another way to use it where you can cut it in white card and then colour it whatever you like, and with a nice inky background. Okay, so we have one more project, so stick with it. If you have any questions, please ask. It's just going to take me a minute to just try and sort myself out because I've got a lot of bits and pieces for the next thing, which is the canvas. So way right, be as tidy in here as I can before I start this one, because there are lots of different things that I'm going to make a mess with. So if I start with a mess, it's going to just get worse. Okay, so canvas. This is what we're aiming for. Now, what I've done is I've used this die to cut out this. Now, once I'd done it, I kind of felt like I could have done with more. So I'm going to use two pieces. But what I'm cutting it out from, just bear with me, I'm going to be bringing boxes in and out for the moment, is foam. It's not your flower forming foam. You can use that if you're willing to sacrifice some of your lovely flower forming foam. It's kind of more your funky foam. It's just because I wanted something a little bit more flexible, a little bit more, a little bit thicker. Now I am going to run this through the machine, but what I'm not going to do is sit here and get it all out. It cuts really well, as I'll show you. But if you thought you have static when you cut it with card, that's nothing compared to what you get when you cut it on the foam. So let's do that first, and then I'll explain what I've done with the rest of the canvas, and hopefully we will get through that. I'm not even going to tape it, so I'm going to run this through, and like I said, it cuts fine. But because it's foam, it kind of clings to the die, and oh my word, is it a mess. I had to sit over the top of my let's bring it out. It is all cut, but it kind of clings in there. And as soon as you start to pop this out, it just goes everywhere. So my suggestion to you is when you cut it, go over a bin and wiggle it. And it all pops out and it all drops into the bin, but it does go everywhere. I kind of feel like they do just come out. Can you see what I mean? Then it's not like it hasn't cut. It's just so messy that I am not going to do it live. There's some things, see that already it's sticking to me. And it would only get worse if I tried to pop all that out. So I have already got myself 2 pieces. I'm going to put them to one side because what I want to do is to start prepping the canvas so some of that is dry before we move on. So this is not a canvas that I have been at. Whoa, okay, that was a good start. That's one of my pots smashed on. No, it's not smashed, it's fine. Just dropped on the floor. These 2 canvases, the one I've got there and the one that I'm working on, are really old. If you look on the back, you see these marks here. I bought it years ago and it had these patterns that go all the way over. You can just about make it out. It was almost a colour by numbers, but not quite. It was like there's the patterns, you choose your colours. And I did it for a room and they were on the wall for a long time and then they were up in the loft for a long time. So what I've done, I have literally gessoed over the top. So it took quite a bit of gesso to get over them, but I'm not too worried that it's not completely covered because it'll all pretty much disappear. So that's the first job, is to make sure you've got a nice white background. Now, the next thing is I wanted to create some texture here for the waves. And so I have used just tissue paper and decoupage glue. Okay, let's get that opened. And this is where it starts to get messy, and it will only get worse until the end of the show. So I'm going to go this way because there's a slightly lighter bit here where I've got the sort of beachy area. So I am going to start by painting the side, the 2 sides, this side, so top and right side of the canvas with the decoupage glue, and also kind of on the top roughly where you want it to be. Now as soon as you start putting the decoupage the tissue paper on, it will start to get a little bit sticky. So open out your piece of tissue paper, and what you want to do is to stick one of the edges down and then the other edge. Now I've ripped it, it doesn't matter because I'm going to start wrinkling it anyway. So you've got your start, and then what you do is you just bring it over, and with your glue you just start to stick it however you want. Fold it up, fold it over. Now the tissue paper will absorb the glue. It will become quite malleable, and this is one of those things, it's how mucky, how messy do you want to get? It's entirely up to you, but it's one of those things, it's a cheap and easy way to create texture. You don't need any fancy pastes, you don't need any stencils or molds. You can literally just, with a bit of glue and a bit of I'm going to come back up here, a bit of tissue paper, you can create the texture for our waves. Okay, now I'm not too worried if it will dry fairly quickly, but I'm not too worried if it doesn't completely dry by the time we're ready to do our next bit. Okay, so any bits that I'm not sticking down to the sides, I will cut off later once everything is dry and I can see what's stuck and what hasn't. That said, it looks like it's ripping off anyway, so let's just rip that off. That's a good rip. Get totally covered in glue and totally messy. There we go. Right, so that's for our waves. Not too worried again about this bit because we're going to put our shells over there. Okay, so there's my kind of wavy bit, and I'm going to put my brush into some water, and I'm going to close off that. Now, for I'm just going to pull that off, otherwise it's going to annoy me. For the sandy bit, and looking at what I've done on this one, I probably, when I paint, I will bring the blue paint down to here, but it's not a problem. I am going to use some texture paste now because I want it to look like sand. This icy snow paste is quite gritty, so it literally is a case of just putting it on, and it doesn't matter if it goes over the tissue paper. It doesn't need to be thick. It doesn't need to be even. You can hear the grit in it. It's to add that kind of sandy, gritty texture. And I'm going to put some along the side as well. And just literally putting it along there. And a little bit along here. Doesn't need to be completely floated, just kind of to bring that texture down there. Now, I am going to give it a little blast on the with the heat gun, but not a huge blast. It doesn't take really too long to dry. I just want to make sure. Sorry, I'm getting the lid back on that so that I am not letting too much air in. So we'll give it a quick blast. So you don't want to heat it too much because obviously that's very thin paper, and once it starts to heat, it's going to start to move and do stuff you don't want. Same with the texture paste. You don't want to overheat it. But we'll give it a fair blast now, and then we can prep a few other bits while we're waiting. Some down the sides. Okay, we'll go with that for now, and chances are my I was about to say blowtorch. It's not a blowtorch. Heat gun. Probably won't switch on again for a while anyway. So I'm going to put this now just to one side to allow it to dry out a little bit more. Put it there for the moment. Let's just bring it back in so we can look at what we're going to do next. Now, this is what I have used here, and I felt I didn't have enough, which is why I've gone for 2 pieces this time. And I like it because with this you can stretch the edges. It's not the same as if you were using cutting it from a piece of card, which is why I went for the foam. But I do need to colour it, and I do obviously need to mix my paints for painting the background as well. So I'm going to do that in some little pots. just for ease of trying to keep this clean. A piece of chocolate mousse. I rather like it. But I have got some white gesso here. I'm not sure this is enough, but I have got another pot somewhere. Yeah, wherever it is, in case I need it. Right, so I'm going to need some white gesso. Now I'm using quite a lot because the colours, these are the colours I have in the Royal Langnickel acrylics. I've got my primary colours, a red, a yellow, and a bright blue. So cadmium yellow, cadmium red, dark ultramarine, and then I've got a brown, a raw umber, just to sort of to neutralise things, if you like. But I don't want dark colours. So all the colours you can see on here, I have made with these. But you do need a fair amount of gesso. Excuse me. So I said I'm not sure if I've got enough left, but I haven't. I'm so sorry. It's quite rude. But I'm going to get the pot out because I feel it's rather not great. Now let's mix it and see. It might be that I don't need loads more. So I'm going to make the blue. Let's use one of the ones I've got more in because I need more. The other thing I did when I mixed these and I did them, I mixed them with my stencil brushes, which is what I'm going to use. But then what happens when these are great stencil brushes, but what happens when you mix the paints with them is so much of the paint gets caught up in the brush. And then you kind of lose some of that paint. You don't get it back. Well, you can, but you know, it gets kind of caught up in the thing. So I thought if mixing it in here, we might get a little bit more sort of out of paint. So I've only got a little bit of blue. These are strong colours, and quite honestly, you just need a little bit. Can you see already I've got a nice light blue? However, I was aiming for this is a picture of my dog. This is Molly on the beach with her ball, and I was kind of aiming for this more grey blue, so it's slightly more green. So I added a really tiny bit of yellow. Now I have broken the cap off my yellow, but what happens is this then clogs up. It's fine. You just have to take that off to get the colour out, which is no biggie. Whoa! Remember what I said about a really tiny bit of yellow, which is going to make this into a more green. I'm sorry, I'm doing it in the pot. It's not quite so easy for you to see. Right, so that's more of the blue now that I want, rather than just the straight blue. So that one's okay. Let's put that there and put that into thing. Right, next I want I'm gonna go with that one. I think it's got more in. This sort of sandy colour. Okay, so this one is a combination of a little bit of yellow and a little bit of brown. Give it that more sort of sandy colour than that bright sort of lemony yellow. So let's give that a mix. So that's for my sand. Okay, and then I need the last one I need to mix up is the colour for the netting. So this one is a mixture. They're all mixtures. It's when you've got your primary colours, you can mix pretty much anything. But if you've got white and then black, or in this case really dark brown, you can sort of really change the tones of things. So we've got a little bit of brown for this one. I want a bit more brown for that one. And because that's quite a grey brown when you mix it up, I'll put a little bit of red. You see how much I'm using? Tiny little bits to kind of warm that up. So it might be that I put too much red. You see how much, a tiny bit I use, and I might want some more brown in that. Definitely going to need some more brown. I've ended up with more of a pinky colour. So let's put some more brown in. It is a good idea to mix your colours before you start and mix enough. Because if you don't, you'll find you'll get part of the way through your project and you won't have enough paint. And I still think I need more brown in that. You know what will happen now is I'll put loads in and now it'll be too much. Oh, there we go. That's looking more like what I want. Yeah, maybe a bit of yellow. I'm winging it now. Oh, take the lid off with this one. And all of this is why kind of sometimes it's kind of like, I don't know if you ever heard of a critical path analysis. I used to do computing many years ago. Critical path analysis, trying to work out what you can do while other things are doing. So these are all things you can be doing while the canvas is drying. That's better. We'll go with that. Whether it's right or not, we're going to go with it. Because, I don't know, watching me mix paint is probably as boring as watching paint dry. So we'll do that. Lid, go on, please. Right, so let's put that in there. Let's put the paints down and let's have a... First of all, we are going to do the netting. Now, this is a bit of an experiment for me because, you know, I always mop up my my ink, my watercolor, and that I always mop that up with rice paper. And I thought I had, because I did it on my craft sheet when I did that one, I had loads on there. So I have I'm experimenting now with how using acrylics and how you know this is going to work. So I want to pounce this on, and so rather than this being wasted, I mean, you could in effect stencil. You could stencil it onto a piece of card, a piece of watercolor card. You see what I mean by, look, all that paint, and the brush just eats it, just seems to eat it up. And that's another thing. When I was clearing up, I cleaned my brushes on the rice paper, but even when I put them underwater, it's like, oh, there's so much more paint I could have got out of them. I'm just going to put that there. You see already I've got paint. All that paint otherwise would have been just wasted. So I'm literally just pouncing that on with a stencil brush. Okay. It is a lot paler than the one I've got on there, but you know, never mind. It's still a really lovely natural sort of beigey colour. I'm just going to put that on there as well. So, and then I am just going to clean my brush, get rid of some of this excess onto the paper. It just seems such a waste. There still would be, if I was at home now, I would be kind of putting this in water and then doing more of it, but we don't have time. So that's just going to go in my water to stop it drying out. I'm going to put that there for the moment. Okie dokie. So we finished with that one. Those are drying. Let's grab our thing. It's still quite wet, but that's okay. We'll give it another blast with a heat gun. Then doing more of it, but and we don't have time. I can see some areas with a lot of glue, so I'm just going to go in and kind of
okie dokie. So
try and move that with my
those are drying.
To be quite honest with you, it doesn't matter if it's wet, too wet. You don't want it completely wet because you don't want it all moving. But if some of it moves as you put the paint on, it all adds to the texture. So I'm not gonna get too precious over it all. And dry. And also, while I've got the heat gun on, I'm going to give those foam nets, sorry, I just can't grab hold of it, a little bit of a blast as well. Just be careful when heating foam because obviously it's not going to react in the same way as paper, but at least this will take the real wet edge off of this when you start. That was my hand. Another reason
a little bit of
a like
blast
that,
as well.
Needs must.
Just be careful when heating foam because obviously
it starts to bubble. That's what was just starting to do there. It's starting to bubble.
At least this will take the real wet edge.
Right, fold that down. Right, okie dokie. So those to one side again. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add in our colour onto the canvas. So another stencil brush, this time with the blue, and literally everything, looking at it, everything is going to be paler today, and that's fine. Paler blue, paler netting, probably paler sand as well, but that's okay. So you can see it isn't dry. The paper is still moving, but I am not too worried about that. It will take a bit of time to dry out completely with all the layers on, so we just go with it. And I'm glad I did it in the pots because it does mean this paint is going further rather than having most of it already in the brush before I even started. Okay, so I'm going to come down a bit here with the blue. So even though I didn't do my tissue paper all the way down, that doesn't matter. I can still add the paint. And then I am just going to put the blue down the side as well. Just grab the paint over here. So I'm just going to add this over the top. I think I'm giving Dan a bit of a nightmare. Dean? Who's Dan? Hi, Dan. Hi, Dean. Bit of a nightmare because I keep moving things up and down. He's fucking with the overhead camera. So yes, I'm just because this is quite a deep box canvas. You don't need to do it on a box canvas. This just happened to be what I had kicking around in the loft that was sort of screaming out for a revamp. Okay, so I'm not going to get rid of that just yet, just in case I want to go over more. This is just like danger waiting to happen, me doing this. But hey ho, we'll go with it. Right, and then so I've got my yellow, and like I said, this is definitely all a lot more pastel than the one I did before, but equally as good. So just doing the same with this yellow as I did with the blue, and bringing the two in, overlap them so you haven't got, you know, a really hard edge between them. It does take longer to apply with a stencil brush, but it does, when you're trying to do textural things, it will get more into the bits and bobs of texture that you have, and it also will add texture in its own right because you're sort of pouncing it on and not just smoothing it on. You certainly wouldn't, with it still, with all the underlayers still being wet, you certainly wouldn't want to be just brushing over, because you'd be brushing everything off at the same time. Okay, so woo-hoo. There we go. So there's our sides done. Again, I'm just going to keep hold of that just in case. Now, I know what I did do. I'm just going to grab my brown again. I did go over the sand with a little bit of just brown on its own. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put it on there. And then just to add a little bit more difference of colour into the sand, those darker bits that you get. It's a little bit, I have to say, because I didn't, I'm going to put it on the mat and I'll show you. Because I hadn't worked it into my brush, that's why I'm getting like little like bird's feet. Can you see now? Because I've worked it onto my brush, I'm getting much more of a better coverage, not so just sort of like individual little specks. So. And with acrylics on your craft sheet, you can just leave those to dry. If you know, a bit like that, you're not really going to mop up too well. But if you leave it to dry, it will just scrape off. I am, however, going to attempt to wipe it up. Otherwise, I'm going to put my elbow in it. A little bit of water and that will come away. Okay. Right. So we've got our kind of base layer on. Now, the next thing to add is this, but also the picture. So I have, let's smooth that up a little bit. I have my picture, and I have, this is just literally from a corrugated cardboard box, and I've done nothing to it. I've not added paint or anything to it. I kind of just thought it kind of had a slightly driftwood kind of feel to it, so I'm just literally hacking into it with my scissors to give myself a rough. I'm not bothering whether it's straight or whatever. In fact, I don't really want it straight, so I'm going to go in and realise there. And then let me get rid of those extra pieces, and then I just literally ripped into it, just to at various places, just to reveal the corrugated bits. And ripped into the bottom. Just doesn't matter what you do, just to make it look more like it's something you would find on a beach, all raggedy. And that's the nice thing about corrugated card like this, of the delivery boxes you get. And if you're anything like my household, we get a lot of those. They are great for mixed media projects because they just give so much texture. In fact, that's even better than the last one. So I'm going to just stick this on to there. Again, I'm getting as many, I feel like I'm off camera, and I do apologise. It's because I've got so much stuff on my desk that I am running out of space. So I'm just going to stick that on. And then the next thing I'm going to do, right, I am going to, bear with me, before I have some major accident where the entire place becomes a massive muck, I'm just going to tidy up. Okay, not too far off now, so it's just kind of assembling the last bits. I'm going to kind of just cut, again, I don't want those edges, so I'm just cutting those away, and just so that they are, it looks much more natural. And this time, because I've got more, I'm just going to pull into it, and I'm just going to, doesn't matter how you do this. It's entirely up to you. Overlapping. This is why last time I was like, oh, I really could do with some more. A bit there. I was like, oh, I really could do with some right there. And then I'm going to go for a bit down here, I think. A bit like that. Okay. So that's ready for up there. This is ready for down here. The other thing I need for down here is some twine, which I have here. And literally, again, it's just gardener's twine. It's nothing special. I'm going to just literally hack that off. And then all I did was that. Like, chuck it on. Okay. Now, the way to adhere this, there are many different ways. You can use mixed media glue, sort of heavy body gels, things that have got a substance. You can use pastes. You could colour your pastes with your paints. If you've only got white, I have a transparent one which I'm going to use. Oh no, I'm not. That's decoupage glue. That won't work. That's way too runny. As you can see, it's all just run out the pot. Bear with me. Find a thing to wipe my hands with. Okay, lid on that one. It's the white, the silver lid I'm looking for. The one we used just now. Oh, come on. Right, this is the one I want. Okay, so this is, it's kind of like a glue. It's a paste. It's a gel. But it dries completely transparent. So if I just show you here, you can see I've brought it all onto here just to tie in, but I'm using it as a glue for all my bits and pieces. So I'm going to grab a palette knife, and this is still wet, so we're just going to go with it. So I literally am just going to do this. This is going to be underneath the picture. So I'm literally just going to do this to glue this down. I don't need to glue it down all over. I'm going to just have a check. I might want to now this is bigger than the one I did before, so I don't get so much of it there. I think that will do like that. And then we will stick this down as well. So I'm going to put some of this here. Don't need it all over. I'm going to stick that under there. I need to come in a little bit for the shells. And then I'm going to do a similar thing up here. I'm just going to put some down. And the reason I'm not worrying too much, because this will dry clear. I don't want it all over everywhere. So I'm just putting little bits down that are going to be enough to stick it. I've got other bits that are going to be going down over the top. So I can always add some more. And like I say, I'm just going to add little bits all over really, because it kind of ties everything in. It makes it all look like it's wet. But like I say, if you've got white structure paste, you could do it with white to make it look like the foam from the water. Or you could colour your structure paste so that what you put on up here is blue. It's entirely up to you. So I'm going to cut those bits off, so don't worry about those. Right, so I have some shells. They are kind of a similar configuration to what we had here. And I am, again, I'm just putting it along the edges. I don't need to fill that with glue. All right, this stuff is strong. And if you get a heavy body gel, heavy glue sort of paste, you don't need to completely fill everything. So this one is going, so a bit of the gel here. Just trying to look at what else I did. This one, because they're not, even if I had exactly the same kind of shells, they're not all going to be the same shape. So it's a case of working out what's going to work. I'm not even too worried, like I'm showing you. I'm not even too worried about what's showing and what isn't, because this will dry transparent. And then we've got a little top shell here. I'm going to go in there, and another whelk shell here. Yeah, we'll go with that. That's my little configuration up there, and then I have my shells for down here. So what do we get? I've got one here, and well, I've got similar shells. I did sort of manage to go through my bits and pieces and work out what I had there, and there, and there. Oh, I'll do that. That looks good to me. So a bit of the glue gel there. Like I said, I'm not worried if it's getting onto here. Can just spread out a little bit more. Just add a little bit, make it look all wet. This, at the moment, it looks white. Okay, and I'll show you the finished one in a minute, where you can see that it has all dried completely clear. I did that one yesterday. It was yesterday morning, and it was clear, dried clear before I went to bed. So it does take a little while, but it is worth waiting for. So we've got that one there. So I'll put a little bit under there. Just push it into it there. The thing with mixed media is there is no rules. You know, it doesn't matter if you can see little bits here and there. Just make it a feature, make it part of what you're doing, like I'm doing here. Okay, so my last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim off the edges. Who knows? There it is. There's the lid. So bearing in mind this is still quite wet, and normally at home I would kind of wait between some of the layers. It doesn't mean it's not going to work. It doesn't mean it's not going to dry. I'm looking for my big scissors. There they are. I'm literally just going to, I'm not too worried that it's hanging off a little bit, and I'm not too worried about whether I'm cutting it straight or not. It's okay if it hangs off a bit. There we have it. I might just, this is now the time where I start to faff, or I start to move things and push things, but I am going to stop because it is the time for our Facebook Live to come to an end. And let's just have a recap of all the things that we have done this afternoon. So we finished off with our canvas, which has used the maritime collection, the fishing net. That's from Amy Designs. In fact, all the dyes we've used this afternoon are Amy Design. With lots of kind of different things to create our texture on our canvas. We made, excuse me, I will be back. We made our porthole card. Oh, whoops, put the water in the wrong place. I made the porthole card, which used the fishing net die and also the sea life die from Amy Designs Underwater World. This push out, pop out is from, again, from the Underwater World collection with the maritime fishing net. And then the other one we did was our little underwater scene here with our sea life die set. So thank you for joining me. I hope you've had a good afternoon and that you've enjoyed at least one or two of the projects. Please do leave comments, at least say hi, let us know you've been watching. Ask any questions and we'll try to get back to you. And remember, like the page, the Hixxy Crafts page, to make sure you are updated when we're going live, and also to know when the videos are going on to the YouTube. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Hixxy Studio. Thanks again, and I will be back in 2 weeks. None next week, but there will be another live in 2 weeks' time. Thank you.
I can't.